I love Miss Marilyn. She is the most helpful person you will ever meet. Miss Marilyn is my advocate, or as y'all would say it, CASA. CASA.
My CASA volunteer, she did a lot for me. She was there very supportively for my whole time in foster care. She's been there in my court dates.
The child comes to court. It's just overwhelming for the child and incredibly confusing.
There are approximately 10,000 children under the protection of the courts as a result of abuse and neglect on any given day in Maryland. Most have been removed from their homes and are living in temporary foster care.
You know, these kids, they're not here because they did anything wrong.
Sometimes these children are in these situations where they need somebody on their side.
A CASA is a court-appointed special advocate. It's one objective person to make sure that all the pieces involved in that child's life while he's in care are working for that child.
We're basically the eyes and the ears for these children.
They have experienced and been exposed to very, very difficult circumstances.
I'm the one person that they can depend on while they're in the system. They know they can count on me.
While CASAs are not investigators, they still provide valuable information to the court that helps judges and masters make important decisions about the child's life.
There's lots of people in the courtroom. They've got an attorney. Their parent is there and has an attorney.
After determining that abuse or neglect has occurred, a judge or master appoints a court-appointed special advocate, or CASA, to the child's case. The CASA volunteer's primary responsibilities are to gather information about the child's situation and report to the court with recommendations about what's in the child's best interest.
Even though you might have a room full of lawyers, none of them may be advocating for what's in the best interest of the child. So sometimes the CASA is the only person in the room who is truly committed to and focused on what's in the best interests of the child.
One lesson that I have learned is that life is not what you may expect it to be. Nothing is fairy tale.
It was really helpful to me just to be able to sit down and talk to somebody. I really enjoyed her company.
There are thousands of children in Maryland, like Tynetra and Michael, who need the help of someone like you.
And we're only serving a fraction of those children today, so we really want to be able to provide an advocate for every child who needs one.
Some counties in Maryland do not have CASA programs offering support for children under the court's protection.
We definitely need men to step up and say, I'm willing to be a volunteer.
They need to see more African-American males as role models. They're not seen enough, and sometimes when you hear these stories from these children and you hear their background, they don't have any positive role models.
CASA can make such a difference in these children's lives, really turning children's lives around.
To become a CASA, you don't need advanced education or experience. All it takes is a genuine interest and commitment to helping a child in need.
I would say I spend at least a couple hours a week with my boys.
It's a wonderful experience. It's a truly rewarding experience.
CASA volunteers complete 30 hours of training before being appointed to a child.
It can seem like a very overwhelming role for a volunteer to play, and it can be very intimidating for a volunteer coming in. What we really stress with our volunteers is that they have a lot of support. They have very close supervision.
I think the training is good, and because I think it gives you the foundation for going forward.
And I felt prepared when I had my first case. I think the CASA supervisors serve an incredible role.
They help you. They check in with me. I'm checking in with my boys, but they check in with me regularly.
CASA volunteers make a minimum of a 1-year commitment to be an advocate for the child, gathering important information, reporting to the court, and following the case to make sure the child receives the services he or she needs.
The CASA's role is considerably different from the social worker. My job is to represent the department, to represent the court's orders, and to make sure that the parents are able to follow through with the services that are being recommended.
The social worker visits with the child as frequently as possible, but it's probably just once or twice a month. The CASA volunteer may be able to meet with that child every week.
They often advocate, even with me, to say there are services that haven't been discussed. There are services that this child needs that aren't ordered by the court, and they really go deeper and find out the needs of the child.
The CASA volunteer is often the only constant in a child's life as he or she winds through the courts. Lawyers, social workers, and even foster parents come and go, but the CASA remains to advocate for the child.
I think the CASAs are incredibly important to the cases. And if I had my way, we would have a CASA on every case.
Your service will be greatly appreciated by this court. More volunteers are needed in our system because we have so many children that could benefit from your time and experience and knowledge.
This is the greatest volunteer opportunity you can embark upon because you have the potential of making a huge difference in the life of a child.
They're always there when I needed them.
She was just really good to me. Sometimes we would just go somewhere and just sit down and start talking, and that really helped me.
You know, if you have a passion for kids, if you have a passion for standing up for someone who doesn't have a voice, then do it.
Being a CASA is probably the best thing that has happened to me in the past year.
The rewarding part of this entire experience is just to make a difference and to be a positive difference in someone's life.
What I get out of it is the privilege to see kids grow and develop.
You play such a pivotal role in these children's life. You will find time. There's always time to do some good.
It's going to be hope for these children.
It's humbling because I know that I'm really making an impact on their lives.
I lost my hat again. I love to laugh. Yes, I am wonderful.
Here's how you can help. Become a CASA volunteer. Make a financial contribution. Get involved in state or local efforts to raise awareness and funds for CASA. Become a corporate sponsor.